I'm here today with Felix Pintado, Chief Executive of the Royal Freemasons Homes. Felix, welcome. Felix, if we can start by asking a bit of background behind Royal Freemasons and where does the name come from and what is the link with Freemasons and Royal Freemasons Homes?
In 1867, the Freemasons Homes of Victoria was established, and it was one of the largest not-for-profit providers, the first not-for-profit provider for aged care in Australia. The nomenclature changed when, in 1967, after 100 years of service, Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II granted the use of the royal prefix to the name. And so the organisation operated through its committee structures and so on as the Royal Freemasons Homes of Victoria, under 3 trustees. In 1998, that organisation became a company, limited by guarantee. In 2009, coming back to the present day, the name became Royal Freemasons Limited. The name of the company became Royal Freemasons Limited to align it more to our vision and our mission, which was not just homes, so the word homes didn't appear there, not just homes, but much more than that in terms of the continuum of care that we provide to elderly Victorians. The organisation, the Royal Freemasons Homes of Victoria, still exists in the sense that it's the governance of the 3 trustees over the Crown Grant and over anything that emanates from that Crown Grant.
Felix, you mentioned the 5 famous Freemasons. Could you just expand on that and tell us a little bit more about those fellows?
So the 5 prominent Freemasons was the Honourable W.C. Haynes, who was the first Premier of Victoria, John T. Smith, who was a parliamentarian and 7 times Mayor of Melbourne, the Honourable Andrew Clark, who was a Surveyor General and also a very energetic reformist for the small colony that was growing in Victoria. The Honourable Charles Vaughan was one of the earliest settlers in Melbourne, and then the Professor William Parkinson, who was a leading mathematician at the University of Melbourne.
Felix, one name that hasn't been mentioned is that of George Coppen, who I know is a famous Freemason and a namesake of this building. Could you just tell us a little bit more about George Coppen?
When we built this new building, which is a state-of-the-art residential aged care facility, we decided to call it the Coppen Centre in honour of George South Coppen. George himself, I'm very familiar with George now. George was a theatre actor, very much a theatre actor. Went broke several times for coming back from England and toing and froing from Australia, but was also a great philanthropist. He built the colonists' village down the road, the Punt Road over in Richmond, Abbotsford, for colonists who couldn't afford accommodation, and then became a contributor, a donor to the buildings that were eventually set up on this property. A lot of those buildings were built in the 1860s predominantly, none of them exist now. And then they also built other buildings in the 1890s and the early 1900s, and we only have 2 of those cottages remaining on this site. But a lot of that, and also the building of Coppen Hall, was because George contributed a heck of a lot of money.
Felix, can you tell us a little bit more about what Royal Freemasons actually do and what is the objective of the organisation?
If I could start by saying the tagline for Royal Freemasons is "For you, for life." And it speaks to 2 things. One is our client-centred care model. We are focused on the individual and their needs. And it also speaks to the fact that we're looking after people from the age of about 55 onwards. So there's a continuum of care that we provide to an individual who enters that phase of their life. Royal Freemasons itself was renamed in 2009 to capture that it was more than just homes. It was more about that continuum, so from independent living to people that need to be cared for in their own homes, to people who wanted to downsize, to people who actually needed to be cared for in one of our own homes. We provide care to about 1,000 Victorians today, and that's roughly about 400 residents in aged care facilities, about 365 people we care for at home, and there's about another 100 retirees that we look after in some premium apartments, but then there's also the independent living unit residents across Victoria.
What does the future hold for Royal Freemasons, and can you tell us a little bit more about the research and development?
We are going to be growing the breadth and depth of our services. We're looking to 2017 when the organisation will be 150 years old. For us, it's about growing the business and ensuring that we continue to capture and continue to meet the needs of the growing elderly, the growing population of elderly in Victoria. there will always be that need, and we need to provide for that need.
What are the current day links between Freemasons Victoria and Royal Freemasons Homes?
The homes have become an expression of Freemasonry in Victoria. We're very much a part of it. The Grand Master of the Grand Lodge of Victoria is our honorary president. The trustees have to be Freemasons. The chair of the board has to be a Freemason. So we're very much a part of that, and very recently the board appointed a position called the Masonic Liaison, which was and is an individual board member who makes that connection with the lodges through a lodge engagement strategy. And that includes a whole new Homes Jewels program to recognise the contribution of lodges to the running of the homes, an establishment of a new Homes Ambassador position in each lodge to enable news and the events that are occurring within the homes to be read out at lodge or to be communicated to Freemasons generally. One of the things that we have is that we also have our own Hand of Friendship Lodge, which we run here at the homes for Freemasons who are in our care or who are our residents. So there is that very much strong connection with Freemasonry that we cherish and that we value immensely. And even recently that connection with Freemasonry has gone beyond Victoria with the establishment of a Masonic Care Alliance.
Felix, it's been very informative and educational. We've learnt lots about Royal Freemasons today, and we thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Look forward to showing you around.